Hello, everyone. It's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to the first ever episode of the Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, a brand new podcast here every other week on Wednesday night. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to, I think, maintain the same vibe that you guys are used to here on Wednesday nights. We're going to bring Cal and Pete on in just a little bit, but, it has been a really, really weird month. It's kind of fitting that this podcast is debuting here on April 30th at the end of the first full month with no Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. For those of you that followed me on Twitter, I made a post at like 1 a.m. a couple nights ago that basically just said, missing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime a little extra tonight, as if, someone was missing their, ex-lover a little extra at 2, 3 in the morning. Now, I'm not one of those people that would post something like that, but we all have those people in our lives. And it's been a very, very weird month, and I have felt a little bit empty, if I'm just going to be honest with you guys. You guys have been amazing. The community's been amazing. I know I'm not the only person that just feels strange living in a world where we don't have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and of course we don't know what's next for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, but, I want to show you guys something that I believe, I hope it's going to happen, because I've thought about it more and more, and it just makes too much sense, and that's going to be my opening thoughts here tonight. I made a video about a year and a half ago, why a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links movie makes too much sense. You know what? I concede that idea. Sometimes ideas, they run their course, and I say, you know what? Doesn't make sense anymore. A Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links anime makes too much sense. I'm going to show you guys some numbers, and I want you to hear me out. Because I think that if we got a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links anime that followed Yugimoto and the original Duel Monsters crew, it would be generational. And the amount of people that would be interested in a show like that, I think I underestimate it, and I think you underestimate it. Hundreds of thousands of people would watch this show, and I have proof that I'm going to show you guys a little later on. Now, in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, of course, we had a monstrosity in terms of an event back in October 2023, where the Ghost Girl event showed us that we could see all of the characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links world. Yusaku and all of the others were able to see all of the protagonists. You can see some images here, my reaction to it, and you can see November 2023. It was a long time ago. But we do know that in canon, there is a way for these characters to travel within each other, within these worlds. And the amount of dream matches, the amount of duels that we can get would be absolutely incredible. And it doesn't matter what fan you are of a show. If you're a Duel Monsters fan, if you're a GX stan, if you're a 5Ds freak, if you're a Zexal lover, if you're an Arc 5 defender, if you're a Vrains enjoyer, if you're a Sevens fan, if you're a Go Rush lover, there would be something for every single fan in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links anime. Yugimoto and the crew, I think you follow with them, because I think that's probably the best way to, sell the show, to follow the original crew. And you see so many people begging for a reboot. You see so many people begging for, not maybe a remake, but, because the remake we already got for DM and it was a disaster, just like the GX remake is a disaster. You can have so many amazing dream matchups that otherwise wouldn't be possible. And of course, you could have new decks involved as well, in the sense of there's a character, for instance, in Vrains that is an NPC that you can duel that is like a, not Trickstar, a Ghost Trick cosplayer. Well, you could give her a little bit of a backstory and have her duel, and that's how you could use new decks. And for someone like me, if Zane Truesdale is about to duel, I'm going to be really hyped. We get to see a Zane Truesdale duel for the first time in 20 years. But you know what that appeals to more than just the anime fan? It appeals to the card game player within all of us. Because you're going to be asking the question, well, what Cyber Dragons are we going to see? Is Sidra going to get some new support? Are we going to see Zayn XZ summon? Are we going to see him Link summon? Are we going to see new Cyber Dragon fusion monsters? It's an amazing way to give new support, to old decks. And I know you asked the question, well, what about Rush? Does it mean that you just abandon Rush? It actually doesn't mean that you abandon Rush, because you could have an arc where Yugi and Judai go into the portal or the hub or however the travel is going to work within Duel Links, and they go to Seven's World or they go to Go Rush World. Think about Yugi's deck in Rush Duel. Almost all of his cards are already present in Rush Duel. Think about Judai's Elemental Heroes. Almost all of his cards are almost present, or at least enough of their cards to make a full deck. And you could give new support and stuff. But the decks for those characters already exist. And so you could have a show that promotes both. You could have a show that promotes speed and a show that promotes Rush. And never knowing who's going to come through that portal, and never knowing whether it's going to be a villain, a good character, a side character, who's going to duel, I think would lead to speculation and theorizing that we have not seen since the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 days. I don't know how many of you guys were watching Arc 5 as it was airing live. I was one of them, back over 10 years ago, which I know is a very, very long time ago. One of the moments that I think people overlook is when it was confirmed that Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 would be featuring Jack Atlas and Crow. That was announced, and people lost their minds. I'm not over-exaggerating. There are so many people that watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 when they heard that Crow and Jack were going to appear in that show. Well, think about an anime that takes place in a pre-existing IP and game that has already been created and established, that could give any of the characters from every single show a duel at any single time. I think it's money. I think it's absolutely money. And I think you can have new characters in with the villain group, with the evil group, and I think it would just be amazing. And listen, I know there's people that might say, I don't think it'd be interesting. I don't think people would really care about that. People don't care about the anime. Well, let me pull something up. Here's the Chronicles. 9 days ago, episode 1, and I'm not here to talk about the Chronicles, but let's just take a look at the view count. 527,000 views, 500,000 views in 9 days. That's very good. And that's a new piece of media. That's a new anime. I don't call it Yu-Gi-Oh! 9, but it is a new spin-off anime that they're trying to promote. 527,000 views is good. I wish we had something that was uploaded 9 days ago that could show if people are still interested in the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime content. Oh, wait, hold on. We do, because there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime channel that's region locked to Japan that's been uploading all of the old episodes and shows. 9 days ago, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds episodes 25 through 36, 646,000 views in the same exact time frame as a new piece of animation media that Konami has created. So do not tell me that there is not an interest in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. It is just infactual. It is a total lie. And this isn't even Duel Monsters. This is 5Ds. And one of these channels is region locked to Japan or VPN users. One of these videos, I, sitting in this basement from the swamps of New Jersey, cannot watch and cannot contribute to the view count there. It's the one on the right. Unless you live in Japan or actively use a VPN, you can't watch the one on the right. And yet it still has over 100,000 more views than the brand new episode that just got uploaded by Konami Animation Studios. Go figure. Episodes 37 to 48 2 days ago, over 400,000 views. I mean, that's going to beat 520,000 in 9 days. And even the GX remaster, which, by the way, I call it the GX disaster because it's a disaster. Only one episode, episode 3, 166,000 views. That's about a third of what the Sky Striker anime has done in a third of the time. There is still a massive, massive audience. A massive audience here a massive yearning for the old Yu-Gi-Oh anime. And I'm sorry, but if they announced a Duel Links anime that could give life to all the old characters and all the old decks, people would go crazy. These 640,000 people that watched old 5Ds content, a large majority of them would be checking out the anime. And remember, the only one that's not region locked here is the one in the top left. The other three, you have to be in Japan or use a VPN to watch. And look at the views, guys. Sometimes you just can't argue with data. Look at and it's not even necessarily about the Sky Striker project, because 500,000 views in 9 days, I would say, is good. But the views that old retro anime get on a region lock channel is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That does not take into account any international audience. A Duel Links anime would feed families, and I think it would be one of the, if not the coolest thing that they have ever done. And by the way, we're seeing it with the Sky Striker anime. They love their cross promotion between the new anime and Master Duel. Well, you get your cross promotion here between Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 Duel Links and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Or if you wanted to make a new Duel Links game, whatever you'd like. And I know a big worry about this is barrier of entry, but like, I think as long as you've seen one of these shows, you would be willing to watch the show. It'd be like watching a new show. Like if Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 is a brand new show, I think the barrier of entry is very similar to a Duel Links anime if you've seen one of them, because you're going to be learning about new characters anyway. I know somebody that watched Go Rush that never watched Sevens Rarity. She actually comes on my channel once a month to do Appreciating Yu-Gi-Oh! Loved Go Rush. Never saw a single episode of Sevens. Or maybe one or two. Loved Go Rush. So the idea that you need to watch all these shows to enjoy a Duel Links anime, I don't buy into. And obviously you would probably only have like 3 or 4 characters from each series dueling. You'd have a new villain group. I think this idea is just it's right there, man. It makes so much sense to me. It would be the coolest thing that they could do right now with a new show. And man, I hope we get news on a new show soon. But if it's something like this, we are in for an amazing, amazing next few years. You just watched one of the clips from my Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, which airs every other Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys so much for your support. Please leave all your thoughts down below. Long live Yu-Gi-Oh! And I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.